BookTube that I need to explain what Book Talk is, but just in case, it's a community on TikTok that has taken the publishing industry by storm. It started with fans posting short videos about why their viewers should read their favorite books, and these were predominantly romance and YA novels. What began as innocent, unpaid, and unsolicited promotion soon turned into real money for existing and new authors. Publishers began to see that those books that were trending on Book Talk had higher sales than those books that weren't. Not all trends lasted for a long time, but some authors were able to find a community and audience for their books. The most obvious success on Book Talk is Colleen Hoover. She writes romance novels that pretty much always end up featuring abusive relationships. She's quite a controversial author, especially on YouTube, because a lot of people have issues with the way that she handles those relationships. But I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about how lucrative being a popular Book Talk author has become. Colleen Hoover has sold over 20 million copies of her novels and has an estimated net worth of somewhere between $5 to $10 million. Say whatever you want, but the woman's rich. Some authors like Ruby Dixon have had such success that they went from being self-published authors to traditionally published authors. In Dixon's case, she originally published a novel called Ice Planet Barbarians, a science fiction romance. After viral success on TikTok, her book was picked up by Berkeley and was republished in 2021 with a new cover. And I think we can all agree that it's an undeniable improvement. But here's the crazy thing. The new edition has over 27,000 ratings on Amazon. There are 21 books in the series as of right now, which is a lot. Naturally, not as many people will continue to read a series after they've gotten through the first book because it's just not going to be for everybody. So every subsequent book in a series typically has less people who read it. However, the most recent 21st book that she published has almost 2,900 reviews. That's more success than most self-published authors can hope to find in the lifetime of their first book. And traditional publishers are excited to throw money at these people. Why? Because booksellers like Barnes & Noble have started creating spaces in their stores that are dedicated just to the books that are trending on Book Talk. You've likely seen one of these tables if you've gone into a Barnes & Noble in the last couple of years. So authors, traditional publishers, and bookstores are all seeing dollar signs. And now it's time for a new contender to enter the ring. The New York Times published an article on July 3rd titled, "TikTok Sells a Lot of Books. Now its owner wants to publish them too." In the article, they expressed that a new publisher had begun to approach romance authors who were gaining popularity on Book Talk. The publisher in question was ByteDance, and if that name rings any sort of bells to you, that's because they are the parent company of TikTok. In generic emails, the company told these authors that they could offer advances, royalties, and comprehensive marketing services. Unfortunately, the terms were far from enticing for a lot of authors because the amount that they were going to be given for the rights to their book sometimes wasn't any more than a couple $1,000s. For context, sales driven by more than 100 authors with large Book Talk followings reached $760 million in 2022, a rise of 60% over 2021. So far this year, sales have gone up nearly 40% over last year. Now, of course, not all 100 of those authors are self-published, but it would be safe to say that at least some of them are. Self-publishing is an oversaturated market right now, especially for romance. So unless you're one of the authors with a rare combination of luck and skill to promote yourself, you might feel that a company willing to offer you a couple $1,000s and royalties to your book is a good deal. ByteDance filed a trademark with publisher Eighth Note Press in late April. The company touts that it provides a range of publishing goods and services. According to them, they want to provide an ecosystem where people could find, buy, read, review, and discuss books. To add some legitimacy, the company also hired Catherine Pelz, an established acquisitions editor. Pelz began a career in romance according to her LinkedIn bio back in 2016 with Penguin Random House. ByteDance hasn't made any comments with their plans for the publishing operation yet, but it's safe to say that their entry into the market is raising some pretty big red flags. Many authors are concerned that TikTok will no longer be an equal opportunity space for anyone to be able to promote their book and potentially make it big. After all, it stands to reason that TikTok is going to start promoting books and authors that their parent company has a vested interest in, which I think is a very valid fear. And anyone who thinks that this wouldn't create a stir is an incredibly optimistic person, because as somebody with a background in marketing, I can tell you that anytime money is involved, people change and companies change. Right now, there are 150 million people on TikTok that are interested in books. That is a huge market to tap into and could be very lucrative if managed correctly. And something else to note, and a question that I have, is are they going to exclusively focus on those authors who have already seen some level of success in self-publishing and promoting their book? With traditional publishing, they have to hunt through countless manuscripts and slush piles to try to find one book that they think could potentially be a bestseller. They have to spend the money to edit, promote, and design a book, in addition to potentially paying an author in advance and signing contracts with the promise of royalties. Eighth Note Press might decide to reduce their risk by waiting to approach authors who have already had some level of success before they swoop in and say, hey, we'll give you some money for your book, because they already know that the books that they're going to promote and publish are getting sold. In the case of serious self-published authors, they may hire their own editors, book cover designers, and sensitivity readers, meaning the burden of Eighth Note Press needing to do extra work in order to get the book ready for publishing may be also significantly reduced. I'm just saying that there's the potential for authors to grow or be exploited under Eighth Note Press depending on how the company decides to run their business. I hope to be able to provide an update once we know more, but unfortunately I have very limited information to go off of, so I don't want to speculate too much. One thing we do know that could limit their business is whether they decide to sell print books or digital books only. According to the Association of American Publishers, more than 70% of book sales still come from print books. ByteDance hasn't said that they're going to be exclusively digital, but they did say in a letter to the New York Times that they are planning to focus on digital and limited print runs of books to begin with. Because the margins for book publishers are incredibly small, they do get a higher percentage back in their sales when they focus exclusively on digital sales. And I think that's probably the reason why Eighth Note Press is going to plan to do that. They don't have to spend the money that it would cost to actually print the novel and ship it out. They can just digitally deliver it, and all that extra revenue is theirs. Do I think that ByteDance and Eighth Note Press are going to prove to be a threat to the top 5 book publishers like Penguin Random House? No. But there is the potential that they could affect the market for smaller book publishers. I am very curious to see how this is going to affect the authors on BookTok and whether fewer people are going to be able to find market success as BookTok starts promoting their own authors. And with that, that is all that I have for you today. So if you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below. It would mean a lot. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or evening, that you all stay safe out there, and I'll see you next time.